Hey there, welcome in. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to do a pick a pile general guidance reading. This is a timeless tarot reading, so go ahead and pick the pile that is calling to you, pile 1, 2, or 3, or watch all 3 videos for a more complete reading. Hey there, pile 1. Let's go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for being here. This is a timeless tarot reading, so anytime you are seeing this is the right time for you. So let's go ahead and see what is the universe asking of you. This is also going to serve as the subject of the reading. So let's go ahead and see what is coming up for pile 1. All right. Oh, we got 2 cards here. All right, so very, very good. We've got Moon Maiden, New Beginnings, card 41. I love the colors on this card. So we've got New Beginnings coming in. And then card number 19, interesting. It says Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. Are you asleep at the wheel? I know I have often been asleep at the wheel. Nothing wrong with that, but this card was underneath the Moon Maiden, so it feels like whatever, it kind of feels like stagnant energy that you had been in, or literally maybe just being asleep at the wheel. You've just kind of been going through the motions of life without a lot of intentions, but that is changing. All right. So we're looking at new beginnings for you, pile 1. You're shifting into some new energy. Let me move some of these cards out of the way. Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. I don't think I've ever pulled that card from this deck, and I've had this deck for a while. How interesting. Huh. Okay. So we've got a 10, a 4, and a 5. We've got new beginnings. All right, I want to look at, I'm going to pull a clarifier. I'm going to pull a clarifier, well, probably just for the Falling Angel. No, I'm going to pull a clarifier for both. So clarifier for the Moon Maiden. What are these new beginnings? What is that about? Knight of Wands. The Falling Angel, Spiritual Narcolepsy. Clarifier on that card. King of Swords. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then let's look at the past energy. Let's look at the energy that you are coming from, which I'm very curious to see, pile 1. Energy that you are coming from. I hope you are doing well. And I also want to look at the environment around you in the past. All right, let's take a look at this before we move on. So, spiritual narcolepsy, we have the King of Swords clarifying this card. And what I'm feeling from this, when I said that I felt you were asleep at the wheel, this to me feels like you were taking, you were giving your power away to someone else, someone that you respected. You saw them as a master or a leader. I'm feeling that they were probably more manipulative and didn't have your best interest at heart, but you were following their guidance. So you weren't trusting your guidance, you were following theirs. That's what I'm feeling from this. This does feel like this feels like a romantic relationship. So this could have been a very codependent relationship. Although I do kind of feel like the King of Swords, he she feels very overbearing and controlling. So this person was probably more controlling than, you know, codependent. But that's what I'm feeling from this. And you have since woken up from that and you've taken your power back. So Moon Maiden, really interesting here with that Moon Maiden. So if this was a relationship, a toxic person that you were taking your advice from, you've severed that tie, you've broken up, you've separated. The Maiden usually is an energy of someone that is single, not in a relationship, and you are venturing out on your own. For some of you, this could be leaving your home, under your parents' guidance. You're now a young adult and you're moving out into the world. The Knight of Wands, I do feel like this is representing your energy. So we're going to be looking at the actions that you are taking moving forward. So the Knight of Wands, this is you exploring, getting curious, taking action, figuring out who you are. And oftentimes in figuring out who you are, you know, you're going to go on some adventures, you're going to try new things, and you're just going to see what fits, what works for you. All right, so let's take a look at the past. Wow, we've got the Knight of Swords. We've got the Nine of Swords, a lot of swords energy, and then we've got the Ace of Cups. This is the energy that you are coming from at this time. Nine of Swords, interesting, because we had the King of Swords representing the person that you were taking guidance from. I feel like this Knight of Swords is representing you in the past. This could be a really fun energy, but it's very fast moving. You probably rushed into things without a plan, without really thinking things through. This is a very reactive kind of energy. So you kind of just went with whatever felt the best at the time, or that made the most sense to you at the time, but didn't always have your best interest. I also do feel that you were very easy to manipulate or easy to confuse. So it was really easy for this King of Swords person to appear as a master, a leader, someone that knew what they were talking about. You had a lot of respect for them. And I think you had a lot of respect for them because they were the exact opposite of everything that you were at the time. They were more organized. They seemed to have their shit together. They seemed to know what they were talking about. And you wanted that for yourself. So a little bit of a reckless energy here. Nothing wrong with that. But it did cause you a lot of anxiety, stress, you know, a lot of anxiety here, a lot of worry. I'm feeling a lot of tension in the body. It was a really unpredictable way of living before. I mean, you just never knew. Life is unpredictable, but this feels like walking on eggshells type of an energy. You never really knew what to expect, possibly from this King of Swords, but maybe even from yourself. You weren't quite sure how you were going to show up each day. You know, this could be also there could be some chemical dependency here, so possible drug use going on. This could also be just being unbalanced with your hormones, or depression, bipolar. There could have been something like that going on that you maybe you weren't aware of. So if it does feel a little chaotic, the past energy that you're coming from, then we've got this Ace of Cups, and I feel like this was the turning point for you, this Ace of Cups in reverse. Everything that you thought was kind, loving, home, everything that you thought you wanted, or everything that you thought was a certain way, you at some point realized it wasn't true. It was false. This person wasn't who they said they were. And you're taking your power back. This is becoming, well, I was going to say selfish, but you needed to become selfish. This is putting yourself first. So you decided to put yourself first. You probably ended this relationship or took some time away from that relationship to venture out on your own. Let's look at the environment that was around you at the time. Yeah, we've got the Four of Pentacles here. This was the energy around you. This could represent people around you, but this is very rigid, very controlling. This person, this King of Swords here, probably was very controlling of the money, resources, I mean, everything. Day-to-day living was controlled by someone else. It doesn't feel like you had a lot, you didn't feel like you had a lot to say until you started waking up and realizing, you know what? Why am I giving this person so much power? Why am I, outsourcing my energy to them because they're not who they said they were? So, the Four of Pentacles, this can be a good energy at times, but I don't feel like that was helping you here. It was keeping you locked into a pattern that wasn't helpful. And again, this was the energy around you. And at one time, this may have felt very safe. And maybe that's what you needed for a time. Maybe you needed this type of energy, someone telling you how to do things, where to spend your money, how to work, where to work, how to, all of that. Let me move these crystals out of the way. Okay. So you've broken out of some rigid energy here. You're venturing out on your own. Let's look at your current energies. Let's see what's going on with you now. Current energies. And I also want to look at your current environment too. And the environment around you at this time. All right, nice. We've got the World. Yeah, so Major Arcana card here. This is representing the ending of a previous chapter of life, which we talked about here, and entering the new. So this is the new beginnings here. Something to think about with the World card is it's celebrating where you came from. So this past situation here with this King of Swords, while that may have been a negative situation, there were benefits to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have stayed in that situation. But there's also a lot of lessons and valuable information that you learned from that. So with the World card, it's always good to look at everything you've learned about yourself, the world. What did that past chapter of life or season of life teach you? Very, very interesting. And it's always good to be reflective and look back. And then also get really excited for your future going forward, which I feel like these are your current energies. So that's what you're doing right now. Oh my gosh, we've got the moon. Uh, yeah, Major Arcana card, another one here. So these are big energies. Um, I do feel like the universe, you're probably feeling a little lost and a little confused. That could be the case here with the moon card front and center. You know, this feels like an in-between place that you're in. So don't overthink it. Don't regret leaving this situation. You are being divinely guided, and you may not be able to see the way forward right now, but it will clarify for you. Just be patient. The moon, it's the energy of the subconscious. It's you can't fully see the path ahead, like I was just saying, but you may also not fully know what it is that you want or what you're striving for, and that's okay. It could feel very uncomfortable because you came from such a rigid way of living and a rigid way of being. So now you're being asked to think and most importantly feel for yourself. And I feel like that is probably your biggest challenge, is getting in your body and feeling. Because it does feel like this past energy, you felt very detached from your body. So you probably weren't there. It's a lot of distracted energy. So, and again, that could have been from, drugs. That could be because of a hormonal imbalance. That could have been because all sorts of things, but that also could have been because of like a bipolar depression type of a physical thing going on that wasn't being addressed. But I feel like there wasn't a lot of feeling. You were definitely detached from your emotions. So this is probably feeling very new, feeling very uncomfortable, but allow yourself to feel. Be uncomfortable, feel what you feel, and allow yourself to just sit with that, because that is where you're going to get direction going forward. This is really how you're going to figure out who you are right now and what you're wanting. The moon can also represent new beginnings, which, I mean, we had that card over here, the new beginnings card. It's a new cycle of life. Wow, 10 of Wands. So the end of a struggle for sure. Coming out of, again, this difficult past situation. It's the end of a struggle, but it's also putting a lot of pressure on you because you don't have this other person to fall back on anymore. You have to be responsible for you and your actions going forward. So, I mean, that's life. That's how this works. And I'm also wondering if maybe in the past it was really easy for you to put the blame on someone else. Maybe you were putting the blame on this King of Swords. So when things didn't go right or whatever, you would just blame that other person. But, now if things aren't going as planned, you have to look at yourself and your part in that. But this is a lot of new beginnings here. So I would not be surprised if not only you're entering the life into this next phase as single, living on your own, which you may or may not have done before. This could be most likely living somewhere else, because I don't feel like you're still with this person. This could also be a new job too. It's a lot of new beginnings, and that can feel very overwhelming. It's a lot of new energy. Let's look at the energy around you. Wow, so we've got the Ace of Wands. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised to see this in the environment. This isn't necessarily you. These are the people. This is the energy around you. This could be people that you're surrounding yourself with. You know, it kind of feels like you went from a situation that you wasn't working for you. You woke up to the fact that this person or persons didn't have your best interest at heart, but you're kind of falling into a similar pattern with similar people. The difference here, instead of being really controlling and really rigid, you're surrounding yourself around people and situations that are uninspiring, unmotivated. These are going to be people that are not, they have no goals. They're not striving for anything. And this isn't, I mean, this can be okay for a moment. I do feel this is very codependent. This is being around people that will tell you, oh, you know, you're fine. You don't need to strive for anything. You're doing great just as you are. And these are all really nice things to hear, but that's not what you want for yourself. So you're selling yourself short. Doesn't mean that you can't hang out with these people. But I feel like if you stay in this environment for too long, you will become very complacent, and you probably won't start anything. You're in a really great place where it's the opportune moment to try new things, to get out there, to explore, figure out who you are and what it is that you want. But hanging out in these kinds of environments, there could also be a lot of drug use or drinking in this environment, which is how they're coping. It's how they are. What I'm hearing is that it's how they stand themselves. They can't really stand the fact that they're selling themselves short, so they check out, probably with alcohol. It could be drugs, but they're numbing out, basically. You stay here long enough and you will become part of that crowd. So, you know, you didn't break out of this past energy to fall back into a complacent energy. So going off of where you are now, what you are currently doing, let's look at the upcoming energies. Let's look at the future here. What do you need to know about the future? Whoa. And the environment that you are in the future. Let's take a look at that. All right, let's see what's going on. We've got the Two of Swords. So I do feel like this is making the choice. This is the energy of being at the crossroads, making the choice. What direction are you going to go in? This is changing your mindset. I do really feel like you are, you have people currently that are supporting you, that are pushing you in a great direction. I'm wondering if part of what might be going on currently is that you have a low self-esteem. You don't think very highly of yourself. So these people that are suggesting or offering new opportunities, I'm wondering if you're selling yourself short and feeling like, no, I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that. I don't know how to do this. I can't do that. I'll just disappoint you. You know, you've got a decision here. You can change that mindset and really surprise yourself, or you can stay in that frequency of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, and you're going to become complacent. So you've got a decision here to make. And the only way you can really prove to yourself that you can do it is by doing it, whatever that thing is. You know, maybe it's going back to school, maybe it's a new job, but I feel like you have a lot of people in places, in positions of power, whether that's, you know, within a company or whatever. I feel like these people have connections and they're able to really help you and they're wanting to help you, but you've got to make up your mind that you can, you're going to step out of that complacent energy. So, I mean, it's really up to you. You're the only one that can make that decision. And I feel like if you do choose to do that, things are really going to start to fall into place, and you're going to feel, I mean, you're taking things slow here with this Page of Swords. This card's representing you in the future. You are taking things slow. You're moving at your own pace, but you're very optimistic. You're open to learning new things, trying new things. You're meeting new people. So this is opening you up to a whole nother group of friendships and relationships here. You're being cautious. Nothing wrong with that. But you've got a beginner's mindset. So you're open to learning new things. I do really like that energy here. And again, it's not, you know, your path isn't like defined. Whatever this is, you don't have to keep doing that. If it doesn't work out for you, you can do something else, whether that's, you know, changing your major at school or deciding you want to go down a different career path. You know, you're trying things out and you're seeing what works for you. But the other thing that I'm really feeling here, and I think this is probably where you get yourself stuck, is feeling like you've got to have a group of people around you either cheering you on or, gosh, what is this? Maybe you're afraid to go your own way. Maybe you're afraid to be by yourself. It feels like I think it's a fear of being lonely. Or being, I don't know, it feels like a fear of being lonely or being by yourself. So this next chapter, you might be on your own. You might be doing things by yourself. That's okay. It's not going to be a permanent thing. So don't let that freak you out, because I feel like where you get a little off track is you surround yourself with people that also need other people, and they tend to not be the healthiest people. Physically, mentally, you gravitate towards these unhealthy groups of people. Not that they're bad people or anything like that, but they can definitely get you stuck, and they've gotten themselves stuck in that same type of energy. So I think it's important to know that you might be going your own way. You might be alone for a while, but that's temporary. And then we've got the Ten of Swords here. Interesting, because it's right under the Ten of Wands and that Ace of Cups. Ten of Swords, again, this is the end of, it's the end of difficulty. Things can only get better. Things only improve. And I feel like this is just a good reminder that as you step out of your comfort zone, you allow yourself time alone. I think that that's really important. Having time by yourself, going your own way, learning who you are, processing whatever you need to process. I feel like you're going to find your flow. You're going to find your way. You're going to find a new group of people to hang out with. Things do get really they get better. But I can feel a lot of hesitation. It's, you know, you came from a situation that was very rigid and controlling and you didn't like it, but there was safety there. And then you ventured out onto your own. You got a little freaked out. So you kind of fell back into some old patterns. Nothing wrong with that. You just don't want to stay in that situation. So there's like some hesitation here to really trust yourself and to trust your guidance. I can just definitely really feel that here. Future environment. Wow, we've got the Tower here. Now, this is, again, the energy around you and the people around you. This isn't necessarily you, but it's the energy you are around. What is going on with this? Let me pull a clarifier here on this Tower. Do I want to use this deck? I'm going to use this deck. What is going on here? Clarifier on this Tower. Man, choose your friends wisely. Or or go your own way for a while, because maybe you're not a good judge of character right now. You know, maybe that's a skill that you are going to be learning. All right, Tower, clarifier on the Tower. What is this about for pile 1 in the environment? What is this about? And don't give me another Tower. 10 of Fire. We already have a 10 of Fire back here, this 10 of Wands. This is a different interpretation of it, but this makes sense for the Tower. So the card says burnout, taking on too much responsibility and needing help from others. But again, this is the environment in the future. This is the future potential environment around you. And what I feel from this is, I feel like this is, I think you've got some examples of, and I'm wondering if this is part of your hesitation. I feel like you have examples of people that have went out on their own, they've tried new things, and they've all failed. This is definitely a fear of failure. And I think this is you watching people from your past that have done what you are doing now, and they have failed. They've failed miserably at everything. And I think that you have a fear here that that's going to happen to you. Just because that happened to someone else doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. But I also think it's important to know your limits, because I do feel like the people that are coming into your life, the people that the world and this moon card are representing, I feel like these are people that they're not afraid of taking risk. So they take a lot of risk. That doesn't scare them. They also really know how much they can handle. So they might have the tendency to push you further than you really. It's good to be pushed out of your comfort zone, don't get me wrong. But I feel like they could maybe push you too far. So I think it's good to know your limits, but also you're not using that as a crutch to stay stuck, if that makes sense. So, you know, if you've never lived on your own and you're just starting to live on your own, I would just get used to doing that first, and then add on something new, and then add on something new, rather than, you know, starting a whole bunch of new things all at once, that might be too much for you. And other people, that wouldn't be a big deal. The other thing that I'm feeling from this card, coming back to this group of people currently that you're hanging out with, I do feel like for some of those people, there is going to be a major crash and burn that you will witness. I don't feel like you're a part of this, but you're witnessing their lives fall apart. And I feel like you could be a person of support because you've been through similar challenges, and you have some wisdom there that you can offer support with. It's a lot of change though. So, you know, either way, you've got a lot of change coming in. So do you want to stand on your own 2 feet, be independent, have freedom, or do you want to blend into the background and fall into this cloud of complacency? That choice is totally yours. So I want to look at advice and guidance from your guides. What is their advice to you? I mean, you've woken up to your past situation. You can't unknow what you know. So you can't go backwards. You can only go forwards. Advice and guidance. So we've got 3 of Wands here. I love this energy. You know, this is really trusting yourself, getting to know who you are, getting to know what your potential is. What do you want for yourself in this life? It's your life. What do you want from that? And the guidance from your spiritual team, it's expansion, it's growth, it's travel, it's meeting new people. This is also teamwork. So working with people that have your best interest at heart. This could also be a counselor, reaching out to a counselor. But this is seeing the big picture. If you were to paint a picture for yourself, create a life for yourself, and you had everything that you needed, what would your life look like? It's dreaming really big, not playing small. 5 of Wands, this is staying out of chaos, staying out of these limiting situations. It's staying out of I'm going to say staying away from the people that want to hold you back. And I feel like that represents a lot of the people that you're probably hanging out with. Again, I'm really getting a strong feeling of drug use here, or dependency on something. Maybe it's, you know, just codependent behavior. I don't know. But it's, you know, it's finding solutions to problems rather than running away from them. It is looking for solutions that are going to benefit you, and you're not numbing yourself out. So staying sober. And, you know, the people that you are hanging out with, and I'm sure you do care about them, they can join you. They can come forward with you. You know, they don't have to stay back here, but I don't feel like you can stay back there. And the 6 of Pentacles, this is talking about, this is cause and effect. You know, everything that you do, the energy you put out, the energy that you take, there's a cause and effect to all of that. So again, coming back to your broad view for your life, what do you want that to look like? And what steps do you need to take to make that happen. You know, this is the give and the take. You can see on the card, she's feeding a lot of cats. This is the tarot of the cat people, so obviously these people love cats. So in feeding all of these stray cats, she now has a lot of cats. She's going to keep getting more cats because of what she's doing. So what are you doing now? And do you want to keep getting more of that? Or do you want whatever this big dream is for yourself? Do you want that? Because the universe is setting you up to get this, to get your dream, to really dream big, and to you have people that are going to support you in fulfilling that dream. But I mean, you have to make that choice. So let's see. I want to pull a final card. Oh, there it is. So things to you've got some things to consider here. I feel like your future is wide open. You have tons of potential. You have tons of potential and loads of possibility, and people that will help support you and will help you walk through doors. They'll introduce you to the right people at the right time, but you have to make that mindset to change and step out of being complacent. And I think for you that's going to mean stepping away from friends, maybe even some family for a while you get your feet underneath you and you get to know who you are. All right, final card for pile 1. And thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. And if you'd like a one-on-one, my links are below. All right, final message for pile 1. Wow, look at that. Card number 20, it says Feast of Plenty, choices and their consequences. That's what we were just talking about with the Six of Pentacles, Feast of Plenty. We've got the Two of Swords. You've got the Two of Swords there. It's changing your mindset and knowing that abundance is available to you. But it's a choice. You get to choose. So choose wisely, pile 1. And you can do it. Don't be afraid of your potential. Don't be afraid of leaving people in the dust. That's their choice. They could join you. They could come forward with you. And it's not your job to fix them. So show them all that they could have and do and receive. So lots of abundance here, but it's up to you. I love that card. All right, pile 1, take great care. Pile 1, one other thing I want to point out. I flipped over the deck and this was the card on the bottom. It says Dream Thief, refusal of the call. So I do feel like you have a dream. You know what your dream is, but the people that you're surrounding yourself with, they are the dream thief. So don't allow them to steal your dream. All right, take care. Welcome in pile 2. Let's go ahead and get a message for you. This is a timeless tarot reading. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Heather with Heather's Healing. And let's go ahead and get started. So what is the universe asking of you? This is also going to be the subject of this reading for pile 2. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. And if you wouldn't mind liking the video if you like it, and subscribing, I would really appreciate it. All right, pile 2. What is the universe asking of you? I love the picture on this card. The farther gate, bold step forward. Oh, it feels like you might be getting pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit. Card number 55. Big changes ahead. A bold step forward. Let's pull a clarifier. And see if we can get a feel for what area of life this might be talking about. If not, that's okay. It could be different for everybody. But a clarifier on this bold step. We've got the Death card here. So I don't feel like this is going to tell us an area of life other than this is a big transition. So it is a huge change. It's a new beginning, really. It's a bold step forward. And I feel like with the Death card here, it's probably something you're being pushed into. Maybe you didn't, it could. Here's the thing. I think your soul has been longing for a big change, but you wouldn't have made the change on your own. So the universe gave you a push. They gave you a push with the Death card there. All right, let's see what else is going on. Big transition. There's big transitions for everyone lately, I've been noticing. Let's look at the energy you are coming from. What is the past energy? What is the past energy? Because it's definitely a new chapter of life. You know, you're stepping into a new version of you. And that could be because of a literal death. I mean, this could be the loss of a loved one, a literal death. Maybe divorce. Interesting. Okay, so pile 2. We have the 10 of Cups. So this is a happy family. It's one of the happiest cards in the deck. So I do feel like this is probably a divorce, a separation. It's not something that you wanted. We've got the Devil card here, right in the center. It's a separation of lovers. I feel like this is a divorce. So this does feel pretty specific. This is a divorce, a breakup. Maybe you weren't married, but this is a long term relationship. So that's what we're talking about here in this with pile 2. This is the breaking up of a family. So here's what I will say. If it's not divorce, but that's my first feeling. If it's not divorce, it's a family that's been torn apart by an indiscretion, a lie, deceitful behavior. This could also be addiction. Either way, whether it's divorce, cheating, drugs, gambling, whatever this is, it's a family that's been broken up because of deceitful, a deceitful person, lies. Well, dang it, I'm sorry. That's life, and it sucks. Sometimes life just sucks. I want to look at the environment. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea about the environment, but let's look at the environment around this past situation. Now, this is the past situation, so you've already gone through this hell. Or at least the beginning, that beginning shock of that. But I still want to look at the environment around you at that time. Wow, we've got the 3 of Pentacles. So, you know, this isn't a bad environment here. I feel like you have support. You had support. I feel like you still do have support. Um, the Three of Pentacles, this is teamwork. It's coming together. It's coming up with a plan. If this was a divorce, I feel like the person, the deceitful person in this dynamic, while they caused a lot of damage, I do feel like they did their best to come up with a plan moving forward. I think they were a part in whatever you guys agreed upon, whatever that separation was, whatever that was. I feel like it was a mutual agreement, but you have support. This is supportive energy around you. So I'm happy to see that. I'm sorry for whatever broke up the happy family. It's like the crush of a dream, everything you thought your life was going to be, it all came crashing down. And I think what I'm feeling that is really, making me feel really sad is I don't think you saw it coming. I feel like looking back now, you're like, oh yeah, how did I not see that coming? How did I not see that was happening? But in the moment, you really didn't. So a bold step forward, yeah, you didn't have a choice. You were, death, the death of a relationship, the death of everything that you thought that relationship was going to be. All right, let's look at you currently. What's going on with you currently? And I'm hearing finding peace. So a lot of healing, and that's always an ongoing journey, especially when, you've been betrayed by the person or persons closest to you. All right, let's look at your current energies. What's going on with you currently? And I also want to look at the environment around you, pile 2. So, this makes sense. We've got the 8 of Cups underneath the 10 of Cups. This is literally you leaving this life behind, this family, this happy family. It's now broken up and you had to walk away. You had to walk away from that because you didn't have a choice. I feel like even if that person said, hey, I'm going to clean up my act, I'm going to, whatever toxic behavior they were participating in, even if they said, I'm going to stop doing all of those things and I'll get help. And maybe you did entertain that, especially with that 3 of Pentacles. Maybe you did do that with them and it still didn't work out. Either way, you've decided currently I can't live that life anymore. It served its purpose. It was your dream. It really was. But now it's not something that you can be in anymore. I do feel like you're making the most of the situation with this Page of Cups. I feel like this card is representing you and it's right underneath the Devil. I feel like you are the peacemaker in the relationship. I do feel like for some of you, this person is still in your life. And that could be because you have kids with them. You know, it could be that you're still going through the divorce. You know, it's not final. I do feel like you're doing your best to see the silver lining. You're being a peacemaker, which is good. You're being the bigger person. But I do hope you know it's okay to be angry. It is okay to, you don't have to be agreeable. I mean, I love that you're being a peacemaker, but you don't have to be. This is like picking up the pieces. And we've got the, seven. Oh gosh, my mind just went blank there for a second. 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is, you're definitely you're at an in-between place. This is picking up the pieces, figuring out your next plan. You don't necessarily know what you're doing or what the future offers, but you're doing your best. You're doing your part. You're picking up the pieces. You're planting roots literally in a new place. And I do feel like you're trying to stabilize yourself. And also, if you have kids, I mean, that makes sense. You're trying to, you know, stabilize their life as well. You're getting yourself grounded. This could also be, maybe you've never worked before, but now you are working. So, you know, you're doing the best that you can. And this is waiting. This is waiting for, I feel like you're waiting for the dust to settle. You're waiting for yourself to be acclimated, your kids to be acclimated. You could also be waiting for the divorce to be final. You're waiting for that to be fully separated. That's what this feels like. So it's kind of a holding phase. I don't feel like you really feel like you can make any other bold choices, or it's a lot. So you're just trying to acclimate to what you have now. The environment around you, yeah, again, I do really feel like this is dealing with a divorce. King of Swords, my first thought was this is a judge. Judge, lawyers, legal stuff, contracts. It's figuring out all of the fine details. So, you know, I do feel like you will feel lighter once this is all done. So once all of the legal stuff is done and you're able to move, you'll feel like you can move forward. But right now, just keep doing what you're doing. I feel like you're doing a great job at being the peacemaker, making the most of the situation. And you're starting over. You know, you've got a lot. This is a lot. And right now I feel like it's all you can do to just deal with all of the legal stuff. That's what I feel. I want to look at, let's see, first off, let me just look at some of the numbers. Okay. All right, so you know where you're at. You're the one living in your situation. What can you look forward to? Pile 2. What can pile 2 look forward to? So once all of the legal stuff is worked through, once all of that is final, what can pile 2 look forward to? And if you'd like to delve deeper into your situation, you can book a one-on-one with me. I offer live sessions, or you can do a pre-recorded video that is similar to this style of a reading. And we can dive deeper into your situation and your questions. But what can pile 2 look forward to? What can they look forward to? And I also want to look at your environment in the future. Yeah, this is definitely going to be, and of course, I wouldn't expect anything different. This is going to be a long haul. Not necessarily the divorce and all of that legal stuff, but your process. There is a risk of, and rightfully so, there's a risk of becoming very cynical, very guarded. Don't blame me there. You're very guarded, you're gonna question the motives of everyone and everything. Again, nothing wrong with that. I would say do your best to not paint everyone with the same brush. Just because, and just because, and you did really get blindsided. I mean, you were very blindsided. So I can see being super cynical, but not everyone is going to screw you over. I feel that would be the only red flag that I see here with you, is there's a possibility of falling into an energy of everyone's going to screw me over. So, you turn into a really hard, cynical, hateful person. That's a possibility. Not saying that's going to happen. That's just a possibility. So I would say just be mindful of that. But yeah, have your guard up. Ask a lot of questions. If something feels off, question that. And also, I would say, looking back at the past, what were the red flags that you chose to ignore, or you plain didn't see until hindsight, and looking back, you can say, oh my gosh, maybe I did have a feeling, or maybe I did override my intuition a few times. Look back at that, because you can learn a lot from that. And then you can take those gifts with you into the future. We have the Hanged Man. This is why I feel like it's a long process. This is continued healing. You're surrendering to your situation because, you have no choice. Someone else made some really shitty decisions that pushed you where you are now. But this is adapting, surrendering, and accepting where you are. And, you're moving forward. There's a lot of healing here, but you're moving forward. I do feel like most of you are not going to get stuck in this hateful energy. I think most of you are you're just going to be more cautious. I love this energy here. So 10 of Pentacles going forward, you're really leaning in on your family. This is your roots, traditions. These are everyday habits and people that keep you grounded, that you find a lot of joy in. This is also if any of you are concerned about finances, this is being financially secure. So that could be, that could come from, the divorce. You are financially stable here in the future, but the greatest gift that I see here going forward is family. So whether that is your ancestry, your family, or the family that you surround yourself with, that could be friends, people that you trust. This is traditions too. So you're going to surround yourself with a community, with people that you trust, people that you love, you care about, and you enjoy being around. And I feel like that's your future. That's the future that's coming in. It's very grounded. You feel safe. You feel secure. You're learning to You're learning a lot about yourself. You're healing from the past. Again, this is a slow process. It's going to take some time, but there does come a time where you feel secure, rooted in, and you feel like you can take a breath. You feel like you can breathe again. The energy around you in the future, I really do love this. This is the energy of give and take, cause and effect. I would not be surprised if your ex comes back and wants you back. I don't think you're going to take them back, but you have a lot of support around you. I think a lot of the people that you had around you supporting you when you were married and also when you were separated, these people are still here. So, and these are going to be the same people here too. So you have a lot of people around you supporting you, you know, but this is also you giving back. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you become a mentor, you're sharing your story, you're helping out other people in a similar situation, you're giving back. And you're giving back and people are giving back to you. So this is a really healthy environment that you're in going forward. I do really like this. So, I mean, that's definitely the silver lining here is you are surrounded by people that you can trust. You are, as far as home and finances are concerned, you're taken care of. There's definitely a balance here. This could be alimony too. The Six of Pentacles, I do feel that tie in oftentimes to alimony, child support. It's balance that comes through the justice system. I often feel that because this can be a karmic card, you know, cause and effect type thing, and it is under this King of Swords here. So, you know, financially speaking, you are fine, and going forward, you do feel secure. There is a time going forward where you feel very secure. You can trust. You feel safe. Like I said, you could breathe. And I do see you giving back. So however that, I don't know what that is for you. I am picking up the energy of becoming a teacher here for some of you. So I don't know why. I just thought I would say that because that's what I'm feeling here. All right, so let's look at advice and guidance from your guides. What would they like you to know? Advice and guidance for pile 2. You're definitely going to learn a lot about yourself. And you're going to be stronger for it. That is for sure. Advice and guidance. I'm wondering if a lot of you are earth signs here. There's a lot of earth energy here, so that would be Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. The guidance here, we've got the Judgment card. I don't think you're going to become cynical. I don't think you're going to fall into that hateful energy because we have the Judgment card here, and this is the card of rebirth, rejuvenation, starting over. But you're almost better for it. Hard to say. That's hard. That might be hard to hear because the life that you had, that in the beginning, that happy family, that was everything that you ever wanted. But you've been pushed so far out of your comfort zone. You have opened up another level of yourself, another layer of yourself that you didn't know was there. And I do feel like this version of you, not right now, but in the future, is going to feel very refreshing. So That's what I feel from that. We've got the King of Pentacles. Again, financially, you have all the resources that you need. You definitely don't need to worry about that. You're very grounded. You're focused on home. You're focused on creating that happy family just in a different way. It doesn't look the way you initially thought it was going to look, but you still have that, and you have your community. And I feel like you're making more friends along the way. So you're very rich in resources, people. You've got a really lovely community around you, so embrace that and keep going. You know, this is, and I'm not quite sure why they're bringing this advice up, because I feel like you're very grounded, but don't rush into making any huge changes going forward. Knight of Pentacles, that slow and steady wins the race. You just keep going forward, prioritizing your physical home, planting roots, feeling safe, creating an environment that feels safe for you, your kids, if you have kids. And surrounding yourself with people that you can trust. That's going to be really important, to surround yourself with people that you can trust. And I feel like quite a few of these people you're bringing forward from your past too. I think a lot of these people follow you forward. So yeah, you lost that happy family. You lost a husband, a wife, potentially. But you still have your core group of people with you. So keep moving forward. This Judgment card, this is rejuvenation. This, at some point, you find forgiveness. You're able to fully move forward. So that is totally possible. All right, let's do a final card for pile 2. And just keep going and know that things will get easier, and they'll smooth themselves out as they go. It's just unfortunate. All right, final card, final message for pile 2. Benefactor. Oh, I love this card. I love the colors. Benefactor, grace and generosity. I really feel that links into this Six of Pentacles here. Benefactor, card number 3, grace and generosity. Moving forward with grace. Which I feel like you are going to do. Being very generous, not closing your heart down, not allowing yourself to become a hard, cynical person. You have boundaries up. You are more guarded. Nothing wrong with that. But don't close down your heart. And I don't think you're going to. I really don't. And move forward slowly. You know, I feel like this Knight of Pentacles could be a potential new person for you. Whether or not you get married again, you know, I don't know about that. But this could be a person that, a friend, you know, someone that you spend time with, and it could turn into a romantic situation, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be anything that you're going to rush into. So really beautiful card, you know, finding the happiness and joy where you're at, and enjoying the new people that are coming into your life that you wouldn't have met otherwise. All right, pile 2, take great care of yourself. If you have any questions, please let me know below. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll talk to you real soon. Hey there, welcome in pile 3. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and this is a timeless tarot reading, general guidance for you. So let's go ahead and pull a card. This is going to be what the universe is asking of you, but this is also the subject of this reading. So what is going on with pile 3? And I hope you guys are doing well. I had a feeling this one might be a little more playful, but let's see how we go. We got card 33. I love this card. It says Joyful Muse, Inspiration. This feels very lighthearted. I love all the colors. I love how excited that cat looks. He looks a little crazy too. All right, let's get a clarifier. What are we talking about with this Joyful Muse, Inspiration? What is the subject? What is the subject we're talking about here? Pile 2 felt very earth signy. So it'll be interesting to see if this particular group feels like a particular sign. All right. What are we talking about here? Ace of Wands in reverse. Yeah, so maybe you have lost your inspiration, your passion. You've been feeling a little lackluster. Maybe you've also been feeling a little hesitant to start something new, but you feel like, I don't know, you feel like there's something that you're looking for, a passion, or you're feeling like there's something that you want to create. You just don't quite know what that is. All right. Let me move these cards out of the way. Let's see what's going on with you. So it looks like you are going to become inspired. Joyful Muse, Inspiration. I feel like that's on the way for pile 3 here. But let's see where you're coming from. Past energies. Maybe this is the reason why you aren't feeling very inspired. Let's take a look at past energy for pile 3. Wow, I wondered if there would be a lot of water. And so far we do. We have a lot of water, we have a lot of fire. We got the Ace of Cups here. So coming from an energy of feeling, this feels like a relationship. So I'm wondering if there's some relationship stuff going on here. But in the past, this was a lot of opportunities. This could have been a new relationship, but it's a lot of love, compassion, acceptance, feeling inspired. Maybe you are even making money off of your creativity, because we've got the Pentacle here, which can represent money and resources, but just feeling like everything was in place, you know, feeling really loved, feeling connected to the world around you, very inspired. This is the energy of a creative. This is the energy of someone living from the heart, very connected to your emotions, again, connected to the outside world, very curious, optimistic, a peacemaker. This is really lovely energy. It has the childlike energy here, but I feel like anyone that is really tapped into their creativity, you have to have a childlike wonder. Otherwise, I feel like you become stagnant. So really interesting. Exact opposite of the Ace of Wands in reverse. And then we've got the King of Wands here, which is a definite, feels like a pretty sharp contrast to the rest of the energy here. But again, very charismatic, outgoing, optimistic, center of attention, not someone that's just going to be hanging out at home. They have a lot of friends. They're very passionate. They're very inspired. They are courageous, bold, and outgoing. I'm wondering if this could also be two sides of you, you know? I find that these, you know, fire and water can go really well together. This creative, this creative, inspired inner life can show up as being very bold and courageous. In the outside, how you show up in the world. I really like that. Okay. This is very lovely. Let's look at the environment around you in the past. The environment around you in the past. Nice. This is really fantastic. King of Pentacles. This is the people and energies that surrounded you. So a lot of focus on home, on creating a lovely space. The people that were around you were or are successful. We're looking in the past though. Successful, a lot of resources, generous, optimistic, outgoing, plentiful. I mean, this is great. This is really nice energy. All right, so I love this. Okay, what's going on now? Because it looks like we're talking about finding that inspiration again. So what is going on now? Current energies for pile 3. I just love this cat's face. It makes me happy every time I look over at it. Hopefully that's showing up in the camera. All right, current energies. Where are you right now? Continuing on with that cup energy, with that water energy, we've got death in reverse. Okay. We got another king. And then I want to look at the environment around you now. So we're continuing forward with this really nice water energy. I wouldn't be surprised if those of you watching this, if your chart is heavy with water, or you could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio energy, because we've got a lot of that going on here. A lot of water energy. So being very connected to your emotions, in your inspiration, you are led by your emotions. We've got the Knight of Cups here. So again, that peacemaker kind of energy here, dreamy energy, hopeless romantic. It's kind of like the Prince Charming of the Knights. I feel like this card is representing you, and that's a carry through of this page of cups. It's just a different version of that Page of Cups, a little more mature, but still very dreamy, imaginative, incredibly creative. So what's the problem? I think the problem is this Death card right here. I feel like this is where you've lost your inspiration. It is in reverse. Let me show. I love this Death card in this deck. It's one of my favorite Death cards. And it is in reverse. So I feel like you have gone through a big transformation, a big change. This could also just be aging. This could be, you know, yeah, aging. But the death card in reverse, this is, and I'm wondering what this is for you. This is refusing to change. This is not accepting the changes coming into your life. And I feel like that's why you've lost your inspiration. The death card, again, is a water card. It's ruled by Scorpio. I'm just pointing that out because that's interesting. There's a lot of water here. But so I guess a good question to ask yourself is what do you not want to let go of? What are you, there's a change that's happened. You're not the same person that you were. How can you, what do you need to let go of? And why are you refusing to change? I'm going to pull, I want to pull a clarifier on this death card here. Because I feel like this is what is putting a damper on your inspiration. The subject of this reading is joyful inspiration, getting that inspiration back. But there's something here that you're not able to let go of. And it's crushing your spirit. What is this death card about for pile 3? What is this death card about? Is it that you've not accepted the person that you've become, that you're not accepting that you are a different person? Let's see what we get here. We got the leap of faith. So this is the Fool card. Again, it's another major arcana card. So I do feel like that this is a huge life change that you may not have wanted it. You may not have initiated it. It could be something that, you know, just happened. I don't necessarily feel like this is the loss of someone, but it could be. It could have been the death of a spouse. But this also, if it is the death of a spouse that you're having a hard time letting go of, that happened a while ago. This wouldn't be a recent death, but it's a refusal to accept whatever this change is. Again, I was hoping this would be a little more specific. It isn't. But something that does stand out on the card to me is a childlike wonder, because you have this Page of Cups and this Knight of Cups representing you in this reading, and that very much is a childlike wonder, a childlike energy, being very inspired by the world around you. And I feel like that's what's lost. So maybe you've lost who you are, or you just haven't gotten to know who you are at this phase of your life. The card says, dream big, take risks, leap into the unknown, a childlike wonder. So I wonder if this is just a need to recapture who you are now. Figuring out who you are. But what is it that you're holding on to? This death card is holding on to the past. So what are you holding on to from the past that is keeping you stuck now? And for some of you, maybe I do feel like this is the need to meet new people, to date, to put yourself out there. For some of you, I do feel like this leap of faith is asking you to do that. And I feel like you'll be inspired. You'll get that inspiration back and that joy for life again once you get out there and you're around other people and you're meeting new people. I feel like for some of you, that's kind of what you need. I'm also wondering here with these so we've got this King of Wands. I want to go back here to this guy. Because what I'm kind of feeling with this King of Wands, now for some of you, this could be representing a version of you. And I mean, I talked about him and what he stands for. But for some of you, I'm wondering if this is your past partner. I'm going to read these kings. I've already explained the King of Wands and the energy that this person stands for, and this could be a version of you. This card could be a version of you in the past, and maybe you're wanting to have that person back. Maybe you've lost your confidence, and that's what you're needing to let go of, is accepting that you are a different person now, because, I mean, we are. But for some of you, I do feel like this represents a spouse, a partner, a loved one. This person maybe was your inspiration and they're no longer in your life. Maybe they died, maybe you got divorced or separated and they're no longer there. Or perhaps that partner has changed, because we have this King of Swords right underneath this King of Wands. The King of Swords is more reserved. It can be a little cold. They're very much based there. It's all logic, strategy, communication. The energy of the King of Swords is not charismatic. They are not outgoing. They are not, they're probably not going to be inspired and creative like these water cards and this fire card. They can be detached at times. So for some of you, I feel like this is representing a transition, a change in your partner from being this passionate, fiery, warm, charismatic person to becoming detached, cold, and reserved. And perhaps that's what you're having a hard time with. You're having a hard time with the transition of the spouse. For some of you, this could be the version of you now and how you are showing up, and you're having a hard time with that. This could also be for some of you a new partner that is very different from your past partner, and you're comparing. You're comparing your old life with your current life, and I feel like that's the problem here. I feel like that's what's keeping you stuck and uninspired. You know, you can enjoy your memories. You can't recreate them. You can't go back. You can only go forward. And that part of you that was dreamy, imaginative, playful, outgoing, that person's still here. You're still holding that energy. That's still here. You have that. It currently, it's here. So I feel like you need to make peace with whatever you're having a hard time letting go of. There's something in the past that you're really struggling with, and that is killing your inspiration. It's probably also making you feel maybe not as healthy as you used to feel. There's definitely, I would definitely take time to feel into what is coming up for you. What are you trying to hold on to? What from your past are you not able to let go of? You know, only you can answer that. And if you would, if you'd like to dive deeper into this situation, you can book a one-on-one and we can dive deeper into this. Let's take a look at your environment. We've got the Two of Swords. Very different energy from what you had in the past. You know, the other thing that I'm really picking up here from your current energy, and also this card here, this is the environment and people around you, is it is not as warm. It is not as friendly. It is cold, detached, removed. I'm wondering, maybe you relocated and you didn't make friends where you are now. Maybe some of the people that you used to hang out with, they're no longer in your life for whatever reason. But I will say your energy is still very warm. It's still very you know, you haven't changed that much, but I feel like the people around you and your environment definitely has changed. You've got the Two of Swords here. And again, these are the people and energies around you. This is kind of indecisive energy, disconnected, not able to be present. This feels lonely, honestly. This feels like you don't have a lot of people that you can count on. You don't feel like you have a lot of support. And maybe you're a caretaker for people, and that has isolated you. Maybe that's what's isolated you, from some of your friends from the past. Interesting energy in the environment here. But it's, you could say this is like the energy of the crossroads, but in the environment, I feel like this is being very detached, not present. It's not warm. It's not friendly. It's not supportive. Well, and that can definitely make you feel uninspired too, right? Okay, so there's a need here to accept your situation. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but there's a need here to accept what is. There's a need to let go of something from the past. You're holding on to something, or you're trying to recreate something that can't be recreated. And you're the only one that can do this work, by the way, And I'm sorry if you are feeling really isolated and alone. That, is there a community? Is there people, a group or something that you could go to, or even a market that you could go to maybe meet some new people, put yourself out there with that leap of faith? Maybe it's time that you put yourself out there, and you make friends. You get to know new people. That might help, because I feel like you are the type of person that we all need friends, but I feel like you need friends more so than other people. Is there an art community where you live that you could get involved with? Is there some classes you could take that is focused on art or music, or something that brings you a lot of joy? Maybe something that you've participated in the past. That could be time just for you. I think that would be really helpful. Because the whole subject of this reading is for you to find your inspiration, for you to light yourself up. So this isn't looking for, I feel like in the past you had a lot of things that really lit you up. You had people that were inspiring around you. You felt inspired. You saw beauty all around you. Now you're finding that a lot harder to do, but you also don't have the community that you once had. So I feel like this is finding inspiration from within, rather than, and you can still be inspired by your outside world, but I feel like your inspiration right now needs to come from within, because I just don't think you're seeing it in your outside world right now. Pile 3, what can you look forward to? Looking forward into the future, what could you look forward to? So looking into the future, looking ahead, what can you look forward to? And maybe you just need to do some mourning and grieving over what you lost. Maybe you just need to mourn that life, Oh, wow, look at this. This is really nice. And I want to look at your environment in the future. All right, here we go. I love this. So going forward in the future, we have the 8 of Pentacles. I do think this is you finding community. This is you meeting up with people. I mean, you can see they're doing a craft. They're doing something joyful, creative. They're making little wreaths. You're connecting with the nature in your area. Literally, maybe you have become disconnected from the world around you. This is you connecting with nature, which I feel like you were very in touch with before. This is a new community. But you have to seek this out. So in the future, you are finding that community. And this is finding daily inspiration, being inspired daily by just everyday things you do. You're enjoying your life, the smallest things. You're finding joy in the smallest things. And here you are, Queen of Cups. I mean, what a beautiful progression, going from, the childlike version of you to the more grown-up version of you to the mastery of you. This is you mastering. This is the Queen of Cups. A master of their emotions. This is a deepening of your spiritual practice too. So I'm wondering if part of what inspired you was being in tune not only to the world around you, but to spirit, to that imaginative part of yourself. I feel like you reclaim that going forward. This is self-mastery. The Queen of Cups she allows emotion to flow through her. She's not controlled by emotion. She's not, she feels everything, but she's not reactive. This is such mastery here. I feel like whatever you're going through right now, you embrace it. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable, because it definitely creates the person that you're becoming. It's a really beautiful energy. I love this Queen of Cups, and you also have the Queen of Pentacles here too. But this is a lot of healing. You become you are a nurturing person, but I feel like you've kind of lost that. This could also be you showing up as an emotionally supportive person for other people. And we have the Queen of Cups. I feel like she's also a version of you. Again, mastery, a mastery of resources, independence, being very resourceful. And I feel like this resourcefulness does help you with your creativity, but also being very grounded and in tune with your world. I love all of the green colors that are coming out here, because this is all symbolic of deep healing, physical, emotional, spiritual healing. So while right now you're feeling kind of isolated, you've lost your joy, you do get that back, but it comes through the healing that you do currently. And look at this, 2 queens. I'm also wondering if this Queen of Pentacles is representative of the community and friendships that you become a part of. It's really nice. Let's look at the environment. Oh my gosh, we've got all the, do we have all the queens? What queen are we missing? We don't have the Queen of Wands here. Queen of Swords. The environment around you. The King of Swords can be very, very cold, but the Queen of Swords, this is a community that is focused on it's interesting because she kind of feels like the Queen of Water too, but this is a community that's focused on the well-being of others, putting other people first, improving other people's lives, coming up with strategies to help other people heal. This is very honest, independent, self-sufficient people. So, this is a really nice community, really nice energy. I'm also wondering if this is a community of single women, or women helping women type of a thing. Really nice. So you've got all of that to look forward to. What is the advice that your guides would give you? I'm hearing hang in there. Keep going. Don't isolate yourself. Get to know your community. in real life, like not online. And online communities can be helpful too, but that's not what we're doing. Advice and guidance. Wow, here comes more fire. So we've got the 10 of Pentacles. I feel like in reverse, I feel like this card, I'll show you what it looks like upright. I feel like the advice here, this is connecting to real life, real communities, not online. You're getting out, you're doing things physically with other people. 3 of Wands, travel. This could even be solo traveling, but this is expanding your world. So traveling can be very inspirational. You can meet new people. This is a growth mindset. This is, learning something new, trying new things, stepping out of your comfort zone, but it's expanding your physical world. I love this card. And then we've got the Knight of Wands. Be brave, be courageous, try new things. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Take a leap of faith. And you're doing this for you. This is going out and having fun, being bold and courageous, meeting new people, not worrying about what others might think of you. Really just getting yourself out there, being around other people, travel. I think if you are able to travel, I think that would be the best advice here as far as, reconnecting with your inspiration. All right, pile 3. Thanks so much for being here. And if you've liked this reading, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And let's pull a final card for pile 3. I'm sending tons of blessings and well-wishings towards your inspiration, your joys. I'd love to know what you are creating, what you've created in the past even. Another green energy, card number 29. It says horned cactus, resourcefulness. And we talked about resourcefulness with the Queen of Pentacles and also the Queen of Swords. So making the best use of what you have, being inspired by where you are. Maybe it's not ideal. It could be a totally different environment from what you were in before. Maybe that's part of what you are healing and letting go of. But it's making the most of that. Could you find the beauty in where you are right now? This is physical healing. Anytime I see this emerald color, and you've got a lot of that here in your reading, this is physical healing as well. And connecting with the environment around you, which I do feel is not ideal. I'm wondering, again, if that's part of what you're mourning, is the loss of a previous environment, a previous home, a location, maybe you had to move because of your spouse and maybe he needed different care or she needed different care. So you moved to a place that made more sense for those reasons, and you've not fully connected with that space. Anyway, good things are coming in, but you have to take the initiative for that. So blessings to you and your inspiration. I do hope you start creating again, because you are a creative, and that's part of your purpose of being here, is to live an inspired life, to be joyful, and to create just for the fun of creating. All right, pile 3, take great care, and I will talk to you soon.